Hey YouTube, this is Dan with Electric Reef. So I kind of told you guys we were going to shy away from the 65 gallon build and start going more into the equipment reviews. I still plan on doing that. I just didn't get around to doing an equipment review for you guys this weekend. I've had a lot going on with this tank the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I figured I'd just jump in here for a couple minutes and share it with you, and maybe try and pick your guys' brains, and maybe if you think I'm doing something wrong, you can let me know down in the comments section. So, about 2.5 weeks ago, I decided to start messing around with my lights and doing a little more research. For those of you that don't know, I have the Aqua Illumination Prime HDs, and for the price point and the size and the styling, I really like these lights. I can't wait to do a review on them, but I got a couple other things I want to do before I get into that. So I was running these things at about 30%. I know for a small form factor light such as the I Prime HDs, it's not a lot for a 65 gallon tank. So I decided just to start ramping the light up slowly over a couple week period. Well, about 2 days ago, I got to a point of about 70% with the lights. Everything looked happy, nothing was closing up, everything was fine. Now, another part to this, last Friday, I decided to get a peppermint shrimp to help with any excess food that might be entering the tank that hermit crabs weren't getting to or the snails weren't getting to. Just an extra measure to help take care of nutrients. And I put the peppermint shrimp in there. He took to the tank. He's crawling all over. He's just very lively, and he looked like a great addition to the tank. Got him in there. He made himself at home. He's always crawling all over. If I had to get my hand in the tank for some reason, he'd crawl all over it. And he's just really friendly. So I got him in there. Really liked it. Really thought it was a good addition. So I'm still toying around with the lights at this point, and I decided to do a 20% water change because a couple of my corals weren't looking good, i.e. the frog spawn right down there in the center bottom. That thing's been looking a little closed up. The anemone wasn't looking so good. Everything else in the tank was just popping though. It just looked amazing with the lighting. Everything seemed to be responding really well to it. The GSP up there was doing really good. The Anthalia not had a problem with that ever since. Hydrophora is doing good. And all my zoanthids are doing awesome. So only two corals in here I was having problems with are now the anemone and the frog spawn. So I thought maybe it was something I did with my lights. Am I not doing a big enough water change bi-weekly? What am I doing? I had an alkalinity spike about a week and a half ago. And that's because I started dosing Kalkwasser. Now I brought my calcium alkalinity levels to where I wanted them with B-ionic, using the calcium and alkalinity buffer system. And they got a little high, so I decided to put just straight RODI water back in my auto top off system and run that. So I'm bringing the levels back down. pH has only dropped about 0.12 from where it was at. And everything just looks more lively because of that. I do plan on running Kalkwasser again, but I'm definitely going to cut back on how much I'm mixing into my RODI water. So I did that water change, and still, frog spawn and my anemone, they just look like they're not liking something. And I'm like, the anemone can move if it wanted to. The frog spawn, I got that down in the sand bed because I thought it was a lighting issue, and nothing was working. I mean, they both still look alive and fine. They're just shriveled up and sucked in, like they're just not happy. So today I was just kind of sitting here watching the tank, and I noticed the anemone kind of shrug and then close up real quick. I'm like, why the hell is he doing that? Something doesn't look good. And all of a sudden I see the tentacles of that peppermint shrimp come out from behind the rock, and he's crawling all over the anemone, just picking at its underlayer of skin, its flesh really. And I'm like, what the hell? So I kind of nudge him away with this metal cleaning rod thing I got, and he goes jetting back down on the rock. And then all of a sudden he comes out of the bottom of the rock and walks right up to the toadstool, or the frog spawn, and starts picking at that. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I spent about an hour and a half trying to catch this peppermint shrimp. And I just want to give you guys a quick shot of the coral just so you can see what I'm dealing with right now. And I'm going to take you off the tripod. So you can see my anemone, he's opened up. He's about twice as large as he was before when I had the peppermint shrimp in there. So he's finally starting to come back out, which is good. The frog spawn, oh, there we go. Still got color to him, still looking good, but he's not opening up anymore in that. So I'm really hoping he bounces back, and peppermint shrimp didn't do too much damage. But let's go over and show you guys how I caught the peppermint shrimp. Hey guys, so here's the culprit. I had to get the dogs out of the house because they were barking their heads off at me trying to catch this damn thing. But I put a little bit of food pellets in there and waited until he got right towards the entrance, scooped the net over him, and caught him up. So, good riddance, Mr. Peppermint Shrimp. You're going down in the sump. Alright guys, so as you can see down there right underneath that rock, it's Mr. Peppermint Shrimp, Mr. Cornelius. Got him out of the display tank using the method I showed you, and I wish I could have recorded more, like the whole process of catching him. But I really didn't feel like having my phone running for an hour and a half trying to catch this thing. So just a little glass bottle and a net and some fish food in it. And eventually went in there. I was able to scoop him up and get him down here in the sump. So this is going to be where he's going to be residing for, I don't know, eternity, for the rest of his life, unless I can get somebody to take him off my hands. But I'm not just going to get rid of him because I think he could be beneficial down here in the sump. So. Alright, let's go back up to the tank. Alright guys, so now that Mr. Peppermint Shrimp's out of the tank and down in the sump, I'm going to start just kind of paying attention to everything, making sure the frog spawn's going to bounce back and the anemone's going to be alright. Doesn't look like he did too much damage to the two, but just, you know, it's something you worry about. Are they going to get infected if they got some kind of major damage done to them? But right now, just focusing on water quality. Now I am using Instant Ocean Reef crystals for my salt mix. Making the batches down at my saltwater mixing station at 1.026, but my tank salinity remains at 1.02425-ish. So hoping with time and water changes, it'll slowly creep its way up to 1.026, but everything looks fine, so I'm not going to really stress that too much at this point. See up there in the top left corner, I got my Ecotech MP10 in there, and that thing can move some water. It's doing great. The Hydrophora loves the flow up there in that top rock, and when this thing really pulses and gets going up into the high mode, definitely cleans some of the detritus out of the tank, which I love. Now I am going to be getting another MP10 placed directly across from that one, and I'm going to run them both on kind of a sporadic random mode. So sometimes the flow will be low, sometimes it'll be going towards the right of the tank, sometimes it'll be going towards the left of the tank, sometimes it'll be chaotic to kick up detritus, and it'll just be a fluctuating combination for the tank. So I am dosing this as of now. I don't know if you can see this too well, but it is Kent Marine Essential Elements. Yeah, I don't think I can focus in that great on it. But pretty much what this is doing is anything my salt mix is lacking and what the tank is consuming, I can put 5 milliliters per 50 gallons of aquarium water every 1 to 2 weeks, and maybe help replenish some of the nutrients the corals are using in that time period. So what I'm thinking about doing is I just did my 20-gallon water change, and I added 6 milliliters of the Kent Marine Essential Elements. What I'm going to start doing is every 2 weeks I'm going to do my 20% water change, which equates to upwards of 10 or 11 gallons for this total system volume. I'm going to add the 6 milliliters of this with the water change, And then every week that I'm not doing the water change, I'm just going to add like 1 or 2 milliliters of this. They say you can't really overdose it, so I'm not really worried too much about overdosing any of these elements to the tank, but just to keep them up, and I have a little bit of peace of mind using this. So now back to the lighting. Now, going through all the gradual changes in lighting over the past couple weeks to kind of bring them up to a more healthy state for the corals, so some of the photosynthetic corals are getting the amount of light they need to kind of thrive and be happy. It really got me thinking, what kind of PAR am I running in this tank? I kind of already know the spectrum of these lights, but what is the PAR at with those sitting 10 inches above the water? What kind of PAR am I getting up by the hydrophora? What kind of PAR am I getting at the center of the tank, middle of the tank, bottom of the tank, corners of the tank? Like, I really got to thinking about that, and no matter how much I research these lights, I just can't get a really good perspective on what I'm working with here. So some of you guys might not know this man. He goes by the name of Rico, and he's got a YouTube channel called Rico's Reef Tank. And let me tell you, this guy has a 300-gallon marine land aquarium, and it's SPS dominated, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The guy's been in the hobby for a really long time, and pretty much you could ask him any question and he's gonna have a very truthful answer. Even if it hurts, it's the truth. And you know, I respect him a lot for that, because some people kind of beat around the bush and not give you what you need to hear. And this guy's definitely one of those people that'll do that. So I got a hold of Rico. I met him on Reef Shack with CJ's Aquariums. And he's just a great guy. I found out he lives not right down the street from me, but within my area. So got his contact information, talked to him a couple days ago, and we should be having a, how do you say it? I guess we're gonna be doing a video together, and I think it's gonna be really good. He thinks it's gonna be really good, and it has to do with PAR and how you can get your PAR readings a lot cheaper than buying a whole $345 Apogee setup. So I'm really hoping that's going to work out well, and we think it's something you guys are going to like good. So I really look forward to doing that. And once I do that, then I'm going to be getting into the equipment review of my AI Prime HDs, just so people can get a look at what these lights are doing for my 65 gallon and if it's going to be right for your size tank. So enough rambling on for you guys today, but figure I'd bring you something for Sunday, something to feast your eyes on with all this post inauguration crap that's going on. No, I'm tired of seeing some of the stuff. So alright, hope you guys are having a good weekend. Subscribe to my channel. That's just really helping me out with wanting to put better content out and make better videos and get these reviews going, and yeah, it just gives me a motivation and drive to do it, guys. So go ahead and crush that like button, leave some comments, let me know what you think, and we'll see you here on the next equipment review. And if you haven't done so yet, go check out my first equipment review of Tom's Aqua Lifter. I got a little sneak peek kind of teaser in there for what's to come on Electric Reef. Alright, you guys enjoy your Sunday. Electric Reef out.